Seattle. The wave of sexual harassment claims has toppled powerful men in entertainment, media, and politics. Now, it is also creating permanent changes in workplace policy at one giant technology company. Microsoft, one of the world's biggest software makers, said on Tuesday that it had eliminated forced arbitration agreements with employees who make sexual harassment claims and was also supporting a proposed federal law that would widely ban such agreements. The moves make Microsoft an early company and certainly the most prominent to take such steps to end legal agreements that have been criticized for helping to perpetuate sexual abuse in the workplace. Forced arbitration lets companies keep harassment and discrimination claims out of court, effectively cloaking them from public view and, in some cases, allowing serial harassers to continue their conduct for years. The silencing of people's voices has clearly had an impact in perpetuating sexual harassment, Brad Smith, Microsoft's president and chief legal officer, said in a phone interview. Microsoft's action shows how the flood of harassment accusations has gone beyond individual cases to an examination of policy changes for ending the misconduct. That includes greater scrutiny of legal settlements that have silenced victims of abuse. In one prominent case, an arbitration clause nearly prevented Gretchen Carlson, the former Fox News anchor, from bringing her lawsuit over sexual harassment against Roger Ailes, the former chairman and chief executive of Fox News. Ms. Carlson found a legal maneuver allowing her into court, but many employees are not as lucky. In an op-ed article in the New York Times in October, Ms. Carlson wrote that reforming arbitration laws is key to stopping sexual harassment. According to the Economic Policy Institute, more than half of American workers are bound by arbitration clauses. Since then, lawmakers have taken up the issue. Earlier this month, a bipartisan group of senators, including Lindsey Graham, Republican of South Carolina, and Kirsten Gillibrand, Democrat of New York, proposed legislation that would make forced arbitration in harassment cases unenforceable under federal law. Mr. Smith of Microsoft said he first became aware of the Senate bill after meeting with Mr. Graham in Washington to discuss cybersecurity and immigration. Mr. Graham urged Microsoft to support the bill, Mr. Smith said. What this legislation does is ensure that people's voices can always be heard by going to court, if that's what it takes for those voices to be heard, Mr. Smith said. It's the kind of step that can make a difference. He said eliminating the arbitration requirement for harassment claims by its own employees represented an immediate step the company could take while the Senate bill was being considered. The move is largely symbolic because only a minority of Microsoft workers, numbering in the hundreds in its senior ranks, according to Mr. Smith, have been subject to the requirement. Microsoft will still require those employees to take claims unrelated to harassment and gender discrimination to arbitration. In total, Microsoft has about 125,000 employees around the world.